Hey everybody, this is Darshana coming to you from day 7 of Power to the P, month of February focused on mindful masturbation, self-loving, and personal empowerment. You could probably hear my voice sounds like I have a frog in it, a little bit under the weather. So it has been an interesting day for me to take my practice on and see what arises when I'm just physically fatigued and not 100%. And yet I'm well enough to still honor this commitment in the ways that I'm able to. And so I chose this morning, first and foremost, to not set an alarm. um, I let myself sleep in a little bit and rested and really just slowly eased my way into the morning, honoring the energy level that I'm working with. And I was reading through the orgasmic yoga practices that are part of my coursework for sexological bodywork training, the whole inspiration behind this month of mindful masturbation for me. And I had made note of some practices that I'd like to try, and one of them seemed really perfect to begin today, and it is called touching your chakras with love. And yes, I'm referring to my notes. These are my notes, actually, because what this activity or this exercise guides us to do is to create a very intentional statement that corresponds to each of the chakras. And let me back it up a bit and just speak to what is a chakra and a little bit about the chakra systems. So these are energy centers in the body or in our astral energetic body, outside of the physical body, different disciplines, different beliefs. And a lot of this stems from the Eastern philosophical systems that inform Hinduism and Buddhism. And we, in the yoga world, particularly in our modern understanding, we tend to speak of 7 chakras, although where these are located and if there are 7 or more or less is actually subject to debate when you start delving into all of this stuff. And why I'm even bothering to mention this is because I encourage you to learn a little bit about this system of energy, what these different centers correspond to, and how by connecting to them, you can connect to different facets of your own being that can inspire and empower you both in your self-pleasuring and just in general. So this particular orgasmic yoga meditation gave a suggestion of creating statements that might either correspond to something that is your innate birthright to be exactly as you are, or I chose to do it in a manner of creating an affirmation statement, an I am statement, to really speak into being the vibration that I want to be in. You could even use this as a statement of intention about something that you're going to take on as a practice or a commitment in your day in and day out. And so I incorporated this into my daily ritual, which already includes meditating on the chakras. And it was a very sweet practice. And so I thought maybe I would just read for you and be in my total vulnerability what my statements were to give you a little hit of inspiration and insight into what I'm working with energetically. And something else that I want to mention before I go into that is that there had been a moment a few days ago where I was talking to a friend, sharing a little bit about this practice. And I was saying, I'm experiencing this and I'm exploring that and I'm touching myself in this way that's new for me. And I've gotten a lot of pleasure out of this and yada, yada, yada. But you know what I really wish I could do? I so wish that I could bring myself to a peak clitoral orgasm if that's what I choose, just by using my fingers and not needing to rely on anything else. And he looked at me and he's just like, are you really going to sit there and focus on this one thing, this one way you think it ought to be, when there is so much else that is nourishing and inspiring and juicy about your practice? And I called that to mind this morning, knowing that physically speaking, I just was not going to be up for a lot. And it was a beautiful opportunity to come into the remembrance that there is so much more that our self-pleasure practices can be. It is by no means focused on peak orgasms. And I said that from the very start, and I'm reaffirming it both for myself and for you, because you know what? It feels good to have those sometimes. Great. And it also feels amazing when we can break those habits, when we can step beyond our patterns and explore something that might serve us in a way we hadn't even yet imagined. And so for me, on a day like today, when I'm not feeling so hot, what served me was to step into a very simple and sweet and reverential space with myself, to bring my hand to each of the chakras, rest there, breathe there, and repeat these affirmations, which I did in turn out loud and verbally, and just notice what was happening in my energy body. So here I go. I'm giving you, in my vulnerability, what my touching the chakra statements were. So beginning at the root, which could be your perineum, anus, it could be inside of the vaginal canal for some women. Again, it depends upon whose guidance you're following as to where the location is. But let's just suffice it to say that if you cup a hand at the root of your body, you will be in range. And for here, I said, I am safe, strong, and connected to Mother Earth. I then moved to what is considered the sacral chakra. And in this case, I rested my hand on my clitoris. In the Sri Vidya lineage that I am initiated into, which is part of my tantric influence, we consider the head of the penis and the clitoris to be the main point here. And so for this, I said, I am an erotic, creative being who enjoys and expresses her sexuality fully. I then moved on to belly center, solar plexus. Again, for some, it's right around the navel. For some, it's a little bit higher up. And here I said, I am a gift to the world. I am wanted, needed, and accepted. Then moving on to my heart. I am love, and I give and receive love with ease and abundance. Next, coming to throat. I am eloquent, wise, wild, and true, and my words are always welcome. Third eye, I am intuitive, attuned, and connected to my essence at all times. And then up at the crown, I am one with source and connected to all of existence. And so what I did was, before I began my practice, I sat with pen and paper and I just let these flow through me. And I actually didn't give them very much thought. I really wanted to just be in my spontaneity and let my creativity come forth. So very short sentences. I do have some knowledge of what these chakras represent, and so that informed me. If you feel inspired to take this on, depending upon how much you do or don't already know, you might want to do a little bit of research around the symbolism and the areas of our lives that the chakras correspond to, and make this a part of your practice, whether it's a standalone and you do this as a meditation for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it might be, or perhaps it's a way that you begin the rest of your practice when you're going to go into different explorations with your body and your energy. Anyway, it was an enjoyable one, and it allowed me to be in the restful state that was really most honoring of my body. I'm going to get back to that, but I will be here with you tomorrow for another installment. Look forward to hearing from you, and fantastic job on week 1 for those who've been journeying. I will see you soon. Be well.